dope, outside of the fact that I say dope 17 times in every sentence, it's data on previous engagement. Actually, one of my buddies who was a sniper, apparently it's a military term. So I can't say I'm not a veteran, but my guy who is gave this to me. You need dope for your scope. You need data on previous engagement.
All right, everybody, welcome to a very special edition of In the Den with Bernie and Jill and our good friend and the direct mail king, Mr. Dave Carroll. Dave, how are you today?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure, man.
We're so excited to have Dave here on the Den today. Dave, thank you for taking the time. For anyone who does not know about Dope Marketing, we love them. They have a special place in our heart. If you need direct mail marketing, you don't need to look anywhere else. We have so many clients that have used you, that love you. They've seen awesome results. And I think one thing that I really love about you guys is that you really are like a data company that does direct mail, which is awesome. Like, that's incredible. And we feel the same way, where we're like a data company that does digital marketing. So that's where like the perfect marriage happens. And basically on this Den, like, we just want to learn more about you and Dope and how you got started and what you guys do and who do you work with, just to provide any value that we can in terms of anyone who comes across this podcast.
For sure. So I'll give you guys, I like to, my speaking coach has guided me into some, I presented as some Dave math. I can give you some data around me. So like most of us, I have two parents. I think all of us can kind of share that. I have 8 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
My parents were married 3 times each. Bit of an ex-knucklehead. I went to 9 high schools in my tenure. Got in some trouble, was a bit of a knucklehead. From the age of 21 to 25, I actually spent 4 years in prison. I was not the greatest person at being a knucklehead. I got in some trouble. At the age of 25, after getting reacclimated into society and just coming back out, I decided to get my life together. I had never really had a job, never had been a upstanding, productive member, college, none of that stuff. And so I'd gotten a job at a window cleaning company. Fast forward 14 years. I've owned my window cleaning company now for 14 years. I'm pretty phased out of that business. We have, during the peak season, 22 employees at that business here in the Twin Cities. Started Dope Marketing 3 years ago. Dope, outside of the fact that I say dope 17 times in every sentence, it's data on previous engagement. Actually, one of my buddies who was a sniper, apparently it's a military term. So I can't say I'm not a veteran, but my guy who is gave this to me. You need dope for your scope. You need data on previous engagement to make a decision. And so what I always like to talk to clients about is like, okay, you didn't open your business yesterday, right? Might be your first year in business, but you didn't just start yesterday. And we're not doing a fire sale all of this year to sell this thing off on December 31st, at least most of us. We're planning to continue this thing. So the data in your business really tells a story. And what we found, back to my days of being very involved in my cleaning company, I can't guarantee a lot. I don't know what color shirt Bernie's going to wear today. I don't know who's going to win the election. I don't know the lottery, the next Facebook Panda algorithm update, Google. What I can guarantee, 6 days a week, rain, sleet, hail, snow, the mail is coming. And our friends at Harvard, you guys are Harvard grads too, right? All 3 of us. We went to,
all of us. Yeah.
All 3 of us. Everyone watching too, I think was. Yeah. So. Our friends at Harvard do business studies every year. And they say that one of the last studies was it takes 7 to 11 touches for a cold consumer to remember a brand. And because you're already running your business, you're doing some stuff good right now that you could probably focus some more time on, but you might not be checking every box. What we really do at Dope is identify the data in your business that's working well. We tell a story through that data using direct mail.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, Nathan had given us a demo, and we were like amazed at like how you guys just like drill down to zip codes. Like that's truly incredible. And I really believe that, like, we always say like data makes the best decisions for you. Because you just can't guess and be like, well, I hope this zip code works, in terms of mailing out and spending that type of money on something. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well,
oh no, good. I was gonna say too, just a part of the in a part of that process that we went through with Nathan, just like it's really complex, right? Like the data and kind of understanding who people are. People are always talking to us about how they need to get specific with this audience and specific with that on this message and that. You guys make it so simple to not only understand but to act on and make decisions with. So I think that's what separates you, not just from like other mail companies, but from any like advertising or marketing company out there, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So where you guys talk about like the data and the data really telling a story, how our businesses are very similar, how we help our clients. What we find it dope is like, the neighborhoods are something that doesn't necessarily get enough focus. So like when you look at, let's say Dave and Jill live next door to each other and Bernie lives on the other side of town. Dave and Jill, you might not hang out every single weekend. Your kids might not be playing in the cul-de-sac. You're not passing a cup of sugar through the window or borrowing each other's lawnmowers. But what the neighborhood does tell you, if you look at demographics, when you buy a home, there's an average age in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's an average income in a neighborhood. But more than anything, that the houses were built around the same year, of around the same materials. So specifically for the home service space, but also life events, life decisions, that type of stuff. When something's going wrong in the home, the HVAC needs some maintenance, the walls need to be painted, the roof needs to be tuned up, whatever. Maybe the house was built like our house. We live in a decent neighborhood, but the houses were built in the mid-90s. So these things that are going wrong now that we're seeing this beautiful home that we live in, when we see a truck in our neighbor's driveway, we're like, oh shit, the box elders are back. We got to get the pest control company out. Go back to these touches. You see like the truck in the driveway, you might have got the door hanger, you might be getting retargeted with some ads. But when you go to the value of the touches, putting something in someone's hands and executing a true cross-channel marketing strategy. Your website looks like your truck wrap, looks like your door hangers, look like your Facebook ads, look like your everything combines. Now that trust that's built, we almost look at it like a little thermostat that's going up of trust. Because when your neighbors are doing something and you see it, Dave and Jill are more likely to have the same problem than Bernie on the other side of town. So you got to ask yourself as a business owner, as a manager, how much time are you spending getting multiple touches to the neighbors of your job? Because let's just talk about drive time. Who doesn't want more jobs in the same neighborhood, not on the other side of town, with the same people, with the same type of job, with the same type of problems that you solve?
No doubt.
Is there like, so speaking of that, like the neighborhood stuff, there's a lot of, even like in our space, zip code targeting for social and for PPC and all that kind of stuff. How within like certain block radiuses do you guys get? Or like, give me like, in terms of like the difference between, as opposed to dropping like a pin or targeting zip codes, when you say neighborhoods, like what do you mean by neighborhoods?
Yeah, so there's a big difference with direct mail, with sending like every door direct mail. If anyone's familiar that's watching this, EDDM, you got to pick a zip code, and within the zip codes, they'll have what's called carrier routes. And so you got to hit everyone. Doesn't matter, short, tall, fat, skinny, rich, poor, owner, renter, they're all getting a piece of mail with EDDM, or when you go into zip code targeting.
Yeah.
We've built a couple different tools that allow you to pick an address and mail to the nearest 25 people to that address, just single family, head of household homeowners. You can even add filters and say, I just want to grab the nearest 25, but I'm an HVAC company. I want the nearest 25 people with a house built more than 10 years ago. That's over $500,000. That's over 4,000 square feet. So I know they got 2 systems instead of 1. And I'm not just going to go, hey, new systems right away. No, let's ease you into our maintenance plan that's working towards this time of year, get our foot in the door, but know that we're targeting the right customers. So we can drop a pin on an address. We also have a tool called Neighborhood Blitz, where you can get in and literally draw a shape. Like you could write your name on a map if you wanted to and send mail within that shape. And it's about like, when you look at the targeting, so targeting is great, right? Whether it's online, offline, digital, traditional, we want to spend more time getting more of our message in front of less people. It's not the day and age right now where you want to do this shotgun approach, spray and pray. I want to get huge tomorrow. What you want to do is look at your data is going to tell a story. Who's answering the door at your last 10 jobs? Who's the customer that you want to get in front of? I know depending on what CRM you're using, we have this data inside of Dope also. I know you guys work a ton with the bigger CRMs, you know, House Call, Service Titan, Sarah, all the big ones. But like some of these CRMs, they'll have a map where you can see the pins on your job. We have a specific strategy called a sweet spot playbook where we upload your customer list, show you your job density from last year, and simply go in and draw a shape in that area. And it's never just sending one blast of mail to 10,000 people. I bet a lot of people listening to this go, direct mail, maybe. I've tried that. I sent 20,000 pieces. I bet you have. I got bad news for you. It probably didn't work that well then. It's not going to work that well now. That's not the day and age that we're in. We want to complement our online presence with offline presence and say, this is who we're targeting. These are the people visiting our site, the people filling out forms, the people looking at our Facebook, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, our TikTok. When you have that data, and it's going to show, because who did you do jobs for last year? We at Dope really try to focus back in on those neighborhoods you're working in. And then also as you're completing jobs, having postcards, handwritten cards, gift boxes automatically go out to the neighbors to build that same reputation that you have for your current customers.
That's awesome. You guys make it too easy.
Try.
Like I said,
we have our moments.
Yeah, easy to understand too. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's incredible. So Dave, talk to us a little bit about some of the success that you've had with people who are in the home services space, for example.
Yeah, so we are, I would say 85% of our clients right now, if we include real estate in that, because it's still kind of home service, 85% of our business is home service. The other 15% is like e-commerce, that type of stuff, agencies. Yeah. But when we look at our core business, you know, I still say like my hands smell like the window cleaning bucket. I still got the calluses. Like we get it. We've been there. My company is still a client of ours and we're a 8-month-a-year season. We're in Minnesota. How many people do you think are getting their house power washed in January in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Not too many. But when we look at success, we've just continued to build a tool out because look, what do most people care about when they're spending money on marketing? Our favorite 3 letters.
ROI.
Every day. So what we do at Dope is we have proven strategies. We have an intake process where we got to make sure it's a good fit. You can't just come sign up on our website, get started. We got to make sure that it's a good fit, good connection to work together. But what we do is if you let us know the industry that you're in, how long you've been in business, your revenue, what you did last year, what your goals are this year, how many employees you have, the services that you provide, your foot in the door services, your home run services, and everything in between. We call them playbooks, but it's just our fancy word for strategies. We have design templates that are proven out from the 3 years of data that we have from Dope, but we've been doing direct mail from my data company for about 10 years. So what we do is we say it's Bernie's HVAC, Jill's house cleaning, Dave's solar, whatever it is. We already have the strategies. Both of us are going to have a bunch of ideas and stuff we're excited about and things we want to do. We have stuff that you have to do right away when you're signed up with us because it's the foundational things that'll show results right away. But we built this tool that we released at the beginning of this year called our Matchback tool. So at any time, you can take and either connect your CRM or upload the list of jobs you've closed in X amount of time. So let's say Bernie's HVAC started mailing with Dope in January, and now it's the middle of April. Bernie's going to take and upload his closed jobs, the name, the address, and the price of that job into Dope. We spit out a report and show you we sent postcards to Dave Carroll at 123 Main Street on January 17th, February 3rd, February 18th, March 2nd, and show backing out these strategies and how it's leading to getting jobs. Now that's it's one good thing to send out mail in one of our processes and get jobs. What we've seen from our Matchback tool that we get the most excited about is the close rate increasing for the jobs that you've sent mail to. So when you can look at all your data from last year and say, I got 1,000 leads, I closed 400 jobs, whatever the number is. We can show you a dope over an amount of time. Your close rate will go up as you're continuing to. We have playbooks that are for lead generation. We have playbooks that are for brand recognition. We have playbooks that are for creating an exceptional customer experience. Like the different things that we've learned, because we understand the home service space so intimately, does not matter to us if you started yesterday, to our example earlier in the call, or if you've been open 30 years and are doing 100 million plus or whatever. We work with everyone in between. Our sales team is not compensated by what package they put you on dollar amount. It is making sure that you are on the right package in our system for your business so we can grow together.
That's awesome. You know what? When it comes to that kind of stuff too, the ROI and tracking going back, just when you mentioned like the close rates kind of going up, and me and Joe being like familiar much more so now than I think most, like with the product that you guys are putting out there, how important is it too with the playbooks when, you know, you guys are also doing, it's the handwritten cards, right? And then you have the cookies, and not only is it this diversification of like stuff you offer and how often you're hitting people, but how does that play with like kind of the ultimate end goal in terms of booking up that close rate or like moving that up? You know what I mean?
So here's the deal. I always say like entrepreneurs have 5 fingers on their hands for a reason.
Yeah.
4 things that are working, 1 thing that's replaceable that you can always filter back in. You have to be doing your digital. You have to be doing SEO. You have to be running some type of ads, retargeting, getting in front of people, because back to our friends at Harvard doing that study, it's about getting the right touches in front of the right people. So a real marketing approach in 2023 is a true cross-channel marketing campaign. So like having the ability to get your message, look, perception outweighs reality, but a first impression lasts forever. So even if you are a brand new business, but you've been a technician for a couple of years, you know the trade that you're in, you can show up as long as you give a fair quote, show up, do the job you said you were going to do, and don't collect the money until it's done. You can still present yourself because you went to our guy, Dan Antonelli, and got your amazing branding done, or you went to, like, you have all the pieces put together, except for the length in business or the experience. You can still go to, maybe you're fortunate enough to still be opening your business like in the town you went to high school in, or where you went to school, or where you know people or whatever. There's always going to be that foundational base of where to start. But it's about hitting your customers from every angle and not doing, it's not the early 90s or the early 2000s. And I'm not Mr. Recession, conspiracy theorist, whatever, but like, guys, it's about to get tight. Like it is. It hasn't happened in 10 years outside of COVID, like where the economy tightened up a little bit. There's stuff going on. What happened, what's so fortunate, because I know you guys are huge in home service too. What stayed tried and true through the last downturn, recession, economy, people are spending money on their house. It's not going to stop. The average American, 9 out of 10 Americans, are the biggest financial transaction they will ever have in their life is the purchase of their home. You know what the second, third, and fourth largest financial transaction? It's not braces. It's not a car. It's not vacation. It is maintenance, improvement, and upkeep to that property, because that still is the American dream, to own your home. So even though it's getting a little tighter, investing in the right customer, simply knowing who you are. I always say, like, you got 100 problems during the day. Your customer has 100 problems during the day. Your business should solve like 4 to 7 of those perfectly. But the thing is, they might not need it right away. Just because I got online today, and again, it's spring. We got like, there's this in our theater room, there's like ants get in this spot all the time. And we think the kids left something down there. No, it gets warm. We're in Minnesota. The ants come in. This time of year, we've been planning for 2 or 3 weeks to have the pest control company come to put down the little ant traps and do the stuff. I've been thinking about it. It's been on my mind. My wife is bugging me about it. So it's not going to be that first touch that I get one postcard, see one ad, do one search. I'm like, I'm sold. Right. That constant reminder of, we are trusted. We're the local company. We've been open this many years. This is what we specialize in. And that constant thing happening. Now you go to how many minutes you have in the day. This stuff needs to be automated. It needs to be going out when you're sleeping. So when you're connecting, Sarah, Service Titan, House Call, any of these CRMs, when you mark a job approved, what we do at Dope is the neighbors are getting a postcard every week. Guess what we're doing at your neighbor's house? Here's a recent review. Check out this project we just finished. This deal expires before Sunday. Don't use a date. Use a day of the week, because then your coupons don't expire and there's always urgency to it. So now you say, we have 4 strategic cards. Again, at Dope, we just call them a playbook, but it ties into your industry, your vertical, the touches you need to do, so that that cross-channel marketing campaign is going on all the time while you're running your business.
I love it. It's incredible. And I feel like the other thing, like when it comes to us, like a lot of our clients are always asking us, what's next? What's next? What's next? What more can I do? What more can I do? And we're telling them direct mail. Because it really amplifies the message, especially with what you're doing online. And what I love is, even for our clients that have done direct mail, we've seen increases in conversions in their Google advertising by just doing a direct mail campaign. Like, they work together, they work off of one another. It keeps the message simple but consistent. And throughout all of your marketing efforts, you're just dominating between the two.
Rising tide, all ships, like.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Love it. All right. Bernie, do you have any other questions? I know Tito can cut this out, but do we have any other questions or anything like that? We've covered a lot.
We did. Dave's great on camera. I kind of want to, I want to give everybody next, like, where they can find Dave. And then,
dude, I got one cool thing we could talk about with that QR code stuff. I don't know if Nathan even told you guys about this yet.
No, let me throw that in and just kick it to you. And we'll talk about that. Talk about where to find Dave and stuff, and we'll wrap it up. What do you think?
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, I'll start.
Tito, start.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Okay, so Dave, we know you got something cool happening with QR codes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so going back to what we said about ROI, right? Like, everyone nowadays, like, AI, chatbot, this thing, like, I can't even spell AI. I try to hide from this stuff to just not go down the wormhole. The idea is, like, you look at tracking and you look at, as a business owner, a lot of times we forget this, but our job, outside of every other hat we wear, it's keeping up on best practices. You got to know what's going on currently. And so one thing we saw a couple of years ago, I remember when I would see QR codes like 10 years ago on like a vending machine, I'm like, I'm never going to download some stupid app on my phone to scan the Powerade machine to get to the Powerade website or something. One of the good things that came from a few years back was QR codes. From my 10-year-old daughter to my 75-year-old mother, if you showed either of them a QR code, everyone knows what to do with that now. So what we found with direct mail, with best practices, we came out with something called hot leads. And so there's 2 phases of hot leads. The first phase is you get a list. You want to send direct mail out. Again, with Dope, we do this at no minimum order. So you can send out 10 cards, 100 cards, 1,000 cards, whatever you want. Just use even numbers. We're going to send a mailing to 100 people once a week for 4 weeks in a row. These 100 people on a hot lead list, we create an individual QR code for each person on the list. So when Dave sends a mailing to Bernie or to Jill, when Bernie gets home and scans it, Dave gets a text message saying, Bernie just scanned this QR code.
I love that.
We're playing with that. Yeah, so we're playing with that technology. That got really exciting. It's live. It's active right now. You can add that. I believe the deal we're running, it's on top of any subscription. You can add that for $100 for that functionality to unlock the hot leads.
Oh my God, that's incredible. Yeah.
So get this. If you guys have your seatbelt, if you don't have your seatbelts on, buckle them up now because it gets better. Phase 2 of hot leads. So you think about when you have a cold direct mail campaign, you know who you're sending it to, like there's a name and there's an address on there. Well, we go into the world of talking a lot about data on the podcast here. So like opt-ins, privacy, all that good stuff. You can send mail to anyone. That's one thing that's great about it. But what if you wanted to create an opt-in? So what we did was phase 2 of hot leads, you create a pre-populated message. I'm interested in an estimate. I want more information. I want to check something. When Jill scans the postcard, a pre-populated text message comes up on her phone of that pre-written message. Jill hits send. You now associated a cell phone number that you didn't have with an individual that you sent mail to, created an opt-in that, from what our legal team, I'm no lawyer, but from what our legal team tells us, is a United States open opt-in to any chat communication. But let's take it further. What's warmer than a consumer that just sent you a text message and has their phone in their hand right now? So you want to do this for prospecting. You want to send it to your current customer list. You want to have your office manager banging out whatever scale you want. We can know who scanned the QR code. We can also create a conversation on text message. What's the last stat I read? HubSpot just did something about this. It was like 98.2% of text messages are responded to, not open, not read, responded to. So now the keeping up of best practices with direct mail is something we take very seriously over here at Dope Marketing. So this next rollout, and this will be something that we'll be promoting heavily for the rest of the year, is the application of hot leads to your direct mail. You don't have to do it with every mailing if you don't. I kind of don't know why you wouldn't, but you have the option to now know who's engaging with your mail. The last study we did, it's between a 4 to 10% scan rate if you send over 3 mailings to a list consistently. So let's say you're going to do, you got a list of 1,000 people. You're going to send 1 mailing every other week for 6 weeks in a row, every 2 weeks. The average scan data, you're going to see out of every 100, 4 to 10 people are going to scan that QR code. Never on the first mailing. You're going to see maybe a 1 to 3% scan rate. But as they're seeing that consistent billboard in their mailbox that's following this cross-channel marketing strategy, we see that scan rate get as high as 4 to 10%. But unlike when the 3 of us are at lunch and we scan the menu at the restaurant and they don't know who did it, because we associated the name and the address with the individual QR code going to the mailing, we actually were fortunate enough that the second part with the text message, we got that patented. So it's only us.
That's just you then. So
for the second part, the first phase, I've seen other companies doing versions where it's like QR code with the list and doing that. We had to build that technology on our own internally, but the second part we got patented.
And that's really that next level though, too. You know, well, of course, you know, you built the thing. So let's just say I'm out there and I am Bernie's HVAC, or I'm Jill's roofing, or whatever it is. How do I find David Dope, and how do I get in touch with you guys right now?
So I'm the guy yelling, swearing, and smoking about direct mail on the internet. If you look up Dope Marketing on Facebook, it's funny. You might, if you never looked at us, you get this little warning that you're trying to buy drugs. I promise you're not. It's just us over here at Dope. We've talked to our Facebook rep about it. They're working on it. Yep. Dopemarketing.com, DOPE marketing.com. If you type us in, you will probably find us.
Awesome. That's incredible. And for any of our clients who are watching, if you've tried direct mail and you haven't been happy with it, it sounds like you tried a version of direct marketing through mailers, but you didn't try Dope. So we'll also have a landing page that we'll be driving traffic to, so you guys can get in touch directly with Dave and his team. And sounds like it's a no-brainer to be doing direct mail and doing it with Dope. So any last thoughts or questions, Dave?
Stay focused on what's currently working. The thing that you're not doing that you heard about in the Facebook group that the guy on the other side of town has figured out, your data will always tell a story. Don't look at what you're not doing. Look at what you're doing that's working and try to do more of that.
That's incredible advice. And I know exactly what you mean. I'm sure everybody here watching does too, with the Facebook groups and everything. So anyway, Dave, man, it's been a pleasure having you here with us. We really appreciate you coming on, sharing some insight with us, our customers, and everybody else. We'll be in touch soon.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate you. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Yep. See you guys.